Ladies and gentlemen, today is April 15th, 2014, and this is the KNKL show number 180, where we learn to be better artists. I'm your host, Kenan Lafferty, and today we are going to be delving a little bit deeper into refining digital clay with some actual live footage. I'm going to be doing it real time for you, so instead of running at fast pace, like the Roadrunner, we're going to slow it down a notch. So I can show you real time what I'm actually doing. Alrighty, but before we get into that, let me show you exactly what we're going to be working on. This is a commission piece from Lachlan of Australia, and this is his character Joseph, who is a descendant of royal lineage. He wears this purple robe and carries an obsidian edge blade, which is really awesome. And we're basically going to be taking these lines. I'm going to be showing you how I got to this point, first of all. Then we're going to begin refining. I'm going to show you my addition, subtraction, line sculpting technique. And last but not least, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been posting and pledging on the Patreon. We are to 101 Dalmatians on there. And we've reached our next goal. Hey, look at that! Which means we're going to be having another World of Warcraft pool party in the World of Warcraft. And I just want to let you guys know, once we get to 600, once that number gets to 600, I'm going to be sending out these prints to you guys. These metallic prints. Very nice. So if that's interesting to you, if you'd like to pledge and help support Emma, just click that little button, get Emma stuff, and you will get Emma stuff. Alright, that's enough blabbing. Let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. So, the first thing I wanted to show you guys is, of course, the time lapse of how I got to that point. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that roll, and I'm going to talk over top of it. And yeah, all that good stuff. Good stuff. So the first thing I like to do, as you've seen, is I like to lay out these little boxes, and then I start sketching in just shapes, right? And it's all really, really messy stuff, but notice how I'm not working with stick figures. I'm always working with shapes here, shapes and lines, because I'm trying to find flow. I'm trying to find balance. I'm meditating upon, I'm doing like the monk stance on top of the post above the water, and I'm balancing, right? Trying to find my balance. Trying a bunch of different shapes, different poses, different feels, because at this point I didn't know what Joseph's personality was, whether he was kind of like the cocky, you're no match for my power, that kind of guy in the anime, or if he's like the more modest, still proud, but more modest type of anime dude, anime warrior. So I just decided to go with my gut, and I don't know, I decided that he would be more of like the cool-headed type, kind of the wanderer type. Kind of keeps to himself, doesn't speak much, but he is handsome. And originally I just drew that. I just drew that as a style, because really what I'm doing here is when I take commissions, I really like to give my clients choice, because choice of style. It's like, hey, here's what I was thinking for his face. Here's a couple ideas I was thinking for the pose, and stuff like that. But really, I want you guys to pay attention to, there are no stick figures. There are no stick figures in here. No connect the dots happening. We left that behind after we graduated from being 5 years old. Okay? No more connect the dots. We are drawing with shapes. We are refining our digital clay. We are taking the slab and slamming it on the ground, or slamming it on the table, beginning to work with it. So I started to do this one, and I was like, hey, I like that. I like that a lot. This ended up being my favorite pose, mostly because it's just like the most dynamic one. And I decided I was going to go ahead and go with something like that. Let's see here. There's me going on Facebook. Oh, there's the artisticals. I was recording this during a stream, and I was saying, trust in the artisticals. And a very nice man drew the artisticals for us. So anyway. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, because lately I've been doing this fun thing where I stream, because it's just like a still picture, right? So the stream can totally handle it. And whenever I put like my camera up, of course the whole thing lags, because the internet here really, really sucks. But it works perfect for what I'm doing. Works perfect for doing pictures. So yeah, yet another reason for you guys to subscribe to me or follow me on Facebook, because I will post when I'm doing secret streams. Alright, so that brings us to this point. Okay? Well, actually, there was a couple more things that we refined, as you can see here. we took the sword, which was originally like way out to the side like this, and I ended up putting it more forward. I ended up bringing it and like setting it more forward because I wanted this to be a very dynamic picture. You know, it might just be my, you know, the remnants of riding the bicycle that was Riot Games. You know, it's like, hey, let's get this guy's sword in your face. Let's get his knee in your face, and let's just make it way more dynamic and cool. And I'm glad that I did that, really, because, you know, this is cool, but it's still very flat. You see how he's not existing on a wide range of depth. Okay, so I decided I was going to bring him closer and have him placing the sword towards us. So now this thing is coming right at you, like right here. I'm going to make this red. This thing is coming right at you like that. This knee is coming right at you. And this face is going to be really nice. So, let's go ahead and get into refining the digital clay. The digital claymation. Claytality. Clay fighter. Alright. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure we have our reference, which is right here. This is our reference for Joseph that was so nicely provided by Lachlan himself. Thank you, Lachlan. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the other screen here. That way I can work with it and it will not intrude on my Photoshop. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Probably do this for about 10 to 15 minutes, whatever feels right. And let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is I'm going to hit Control-J, which is going to duplicate my layer. It's going to duplicate my layer over here, okay? And I always like to do that whenever I'm about to start making some major changes. Because say I mess something up or I change a shape and I want to go back to it. You know, it's really nice to have that layer back there. It's basically like a history state that you can't delete. So it's really handy. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to focus on actually is the face. Because I'm sure this is probably one of the most important parts that you guys will want to focus on. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to be looking mostly just at the measurements. And I'm going to be kind of taking note of what makes Joseph Joseph, right? And for me, it's this long nose kind of that comes up to the T shape of the eyes. He's got wide spaced eyes, kind of a smaller mouth. And everything is just like this triangle of facial features. So we're going to go ahead and just very quickly start to sketch that in. Okay, and watch what I do with like the expression to like get it, because I still don't, I'm still sculpting at this point, right? So I'm trying to just kind of feel it out. See, this is what I'm talking about, subtracting to change the facial shape. Okay, now I'm going to really try to capture that T shape. Okay, and I want to, I had the idea of his face being like pointed down, like he just swiped at us, so he's like, you know, his eyes are just barely peeking out from underneath his brow. So maybe something like this. Yeah, something like this. Let's see. Let's have this eyebrow like super far down, like that. Let's have this eyebrow up, because he kind of does that. Kind of does that with his eyebrows. Very good, very good. And I am going to throw in a couple of these things there. But see how simple it is? It's really, really simple. This is what I call sculpting. And I'm trying to figure out if I want him to be smiling or not, or like gritting his teeth. I don't know what I want right now. So I'm just going to leave it because I really like this facial shape. I like that shape a lot. Looks really nice. And let's go ahead and throw in some of the hair. Let's go ahead and throw in some of our hair. And he's got nice, long, beautiful blonde hair. Let's see. He's got this big old piece that comes right through, like that. I don't know. I personally like it. I think it looks cool. I always love to draw characters with like a big old swoop of hair just like going through their face. It looks really cool. It always looks cool. Which is probably why they do it a lot in anime. Okay, so moving on to the hair. Same thing. Watch as I sculpt and add and subtract. It's like all these lines in here, we don't need those. We don't need these lines. Let's get rid of them. All right, just kind of cleaning up, adding and subtracting, adding and subtracting. Okay, so let's see. His ears we're actually going to be able to see here. So a good rule of thumb is I like to draw the ears at the bottom of the nose, but since his head is turned downward, we're going to kind of follow this line up, and his ears are actually going to be up here. Ears are actually going to be right there. And I'm doing this in the middle of the morning, or the beginning of the morning. I just woke up about 20 minutes ago, and I'm feeling so nice. Although I am feeling a bit hungry. I think it's going to be time that I get myself some oatmeal. I love to eat oatmeal in the morning. Get this giant bag. It's like $3, and it lasts me the whole month. But it's a beautiful day outside. It really is. It's a beautiful Tuesday. I was actually contemplating filming this last night and then just having the video ready to release the next day. But I was like, nah, you know what? I got a lot of work done today. Let's just play some T-Lao, get pissed off, and go to bed. So that was my night last night. Playing some T-Lao. Yeah, that was really fun. So anyway, but I digress. Let's get back to the task at hand. Okay, so we've got our hair coming down. Looks good. Looks really good. Like that. He's got this big old like swoop of hair that like just comes from right here, and it looks really cool. Didn't want to lose it. Didn't want to lose it, so we're not going to lose it. We are not. Yeah. I kind of like that shape there. Maybe I'll have like some other little hair bits going that way. But see, look at how I was saying this yesterday, and I really want to demonstrate it right now. I feel like a lot of my technique has a lot to do with this type of thing. It's like, hey, let's draw a shape and then erase things out of it to create something, you know? That's really what I believe. And then see, it's like line work. It's line work, but I didn't draw it like this. I didn't draw that and then draw the lines through it. I feel like this is much more of my style. And I would urge you guys to try it out for yourselves, especially since you're working digitally, most of you. You can't do this with a pencil the same way. And for that reason, you might say, oh, well, that's not what a real artist would do. That's not what Van Gogh did. So why should I do it? And really, I mean, like, if you want to go ahead and do that, then go ahead and do that. But really, the thing I've noticed in art is that it doesn't really matter. We have the tools, so why not use them? You know, it's like trying to build a house, and it's like, oh yeah, I could use a power drill, but that's not the right thing to do. Back in the Stone Age, they didn't have power drills. Back in the 1950s, they didn't have power drills. They had to use screwdrivers, right? Maybe they had them, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm going to build a house with a screwdriver when obviously I have better tools at my disposal to express my creativity. So do that, okay? All right, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with this hair, so I'm just going to leave it for right now because I feel like I'm dialing in too far. Again, you don't want to dial in too far at this point. You still want to stay pretty dang loose with your lines, okay? Because you're still looking for flow. You're just looking for it on a much smaller level. You're looking for flow within the folds of his roby thingy. See, he has a robe. There's a robe. Okay, one sleeve, the other one's ripped off. The other one is ripped off for heaven knows why. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and draw this ripped sleeve over here, and I really want to draw his gorget, which is his neck armor, which I think is probably one of the coolest things about this character and what makes him unique. I say, guys, make sure your characters all have something unique, and your character doesn't have to be completely original. It can literally just be slightly different than somebody else's. Like, take something else. Like, this is a great example. At Riot Games, when we were making champions, we wouldn't try to make perfectly original champions. We would take something that people understood and had a grasp of already, like a nine-tailed fox character, and then we made it our own. We made it slightly different, added a dress on it, made it freaking hot, and there you have Gumiho, which was her working title, but we ended up changing it to Ari. So, yeah, a lot of the characters from League of Legends, they're based around archetypes. They're based around things that people get, as opposed to something just way out of left field. And, yeah, like, nobody understands what the heck is this? So, anyway, I really like this character a lot because it feels... Joseph, to me, feels very familiar. Right? He's the archetype of an anime character, the royalty, the royal bloodline, and where he gets his own unique flair and his unique style is this piece of neck armor that he wears, which I think is really cool, as well as his story and all that stuff, you know. So it's really cool. It's really cool. I say props to Lachlan for that. So I want you guys to pay attention here mostly because I'm drawing like this neck armor, right, the gorget. And really all I'm doing is I'm putting little, like, I'm almost like halfway rendering it out. You know what I mean? Halfway rendering it out. Kind of figuring out what I want to do with it. Okay? Kind of still searching for shapes. Still searching for shapes here. Okay, so that shape goes right up like that. I like that a lot. And then our... There we go. There's our robe. There's our robe. I like it. Good. Okay. But yeah, my style, my line style is very much, it's very much a mix between just values, like creating values, and line work. Because I like to think about it in the way of, I'm going to be adding color beneath this. This is like the animation style, animation cell type thing, right? So these are all my lines and my values, and then beneath it, I will lay the colors. And then I'll go over top and paint over it. Add all my special effects and bells and whistles and all of that good jazz. Alright, so we've got this shape back here which represents his hair, and I really do want to have some of that, so let's get that in here immediately. The way that I see it is he just finished his swing, and his hair is just barely starting to like catch up to the momentum of his body. So it's probably going to be something like that. Probably going to look like that. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got it. And his hair is extra long here. I know that maybe his hair isn't this long normally, Joseph, but it is my style. And I say let's give him really long hair. Plus, it looks nice. That shape needs to exist there. That shape must exist for the universe to be in harmony. Alright, so yeah, I hope you guys are getting a little bit of an idea of how I go about doing this. Let's go ahead and compare back to what we started with. See, this is our digital clay as of 10 minutes ago. And now we are refining it to get to this point. Okay, so let's continue for another 5 to 10 minutes. Because I'm feeling feisty. I'm feeling feisty. Let's just do it. I'd like to go down the arm and get started on the actual blade. Because here we have a little bit of a challenge. And that is, this arm is supposed to be coming toward us. I want it to look like it's, I mean, it's swinging to the side, but it's actually still coming at us. It is still coming at us. So, I'm going to call upon my artistic repertoire and remember who I am. Okay, so for this arm, I'm actually probably just going to erase this. Like when I want to redraw things as this arm, I want to redraw it. Because it doesn't look like it's coming at us enough. It's close, but it needs to look like it's more. The ellipses need to be like this, okay? That's what I'm talking about. So, let's see. When you're swinging the sword like this, I do this all the time. I'll actually just look at my own arm. And just pay attention to the relationship between the muscles and like where my bicep is. Like when I swing it downward, my bicep is actually pointing straight up, right? So we need to make sure we illustrate that. Yes. Illustrate that. So we got this here. Bicep is up like that. And then wherever the bicep is, the forearm lies perpendicular to that. So we're going to get something like that. Okay? Okay. In fact, I want to do one of these. Yeah, like that. There you go. There you go, and there's the forearm there. His forearm looks like it might be a little bit long. Might be just a tad bit long. But anyway, oh, he's also got this shirt that goes halfway up his arm, which will come in handy here. Come in very handy to help describe our ellipses that are happening. And sometimes what I like to do with, like, I imagine this being kind of like a shiny silk black shirt. So what I like to do is I like to leave that little white shine going through there. Makes it look cool. And it just serves as a good reminder, hey, I want this to be shiny. So don't forget it. Okay, that looks good. I like that. Let's go ahead and refine that. I really like the shape of the bicep going right into the forearm there. That looks really cool. Then we go right into that. Okay, so that looks pretty nice. I feel like his forearm is a little bit too long still. Maybe the bicep is a little bit too long as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this entire sword. And I'm going to move it up a little bit. Let's enlarge it. Ah! Aha! Yes. Trust in the artisticals. And they are saying that was good. Okay, let's go ahead and move the forearm up a little bit too. We're using the lasso. We're relying on crutches. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Guys, it's all about the results. Okay? In my book. Before, I would have had a problem with this. I'm like, oh no. If computers ever die out, if there's a robot revolution and we're left with just sticks and rocks and I have to draw on the ground, I'm never going to be able to do this. I might as well just quit right now. And it's like, no, just shut up. Shut up. Talking to myself. Okay, so forearm. That looks about right. Yes. I like that very much. Let's go ahead and just kind of add that shape back into there. Add that shape back into there. But yes, I'm truly terrified of a robot revolution. Let's just get that out there, okay? Let's get that out there. I've seen The Matrix. Okay, I know. I've seen what can happen. I've seen what can happen. Okay, so the next challenge that's going to be coming up is just like the hand holding the hilt of the blade. Even though we're not going to be able to see most of it, I might save that. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. You guys deserve to see it. Because I'm like, well, I could try, but it might turn out bad. It might not look good. But you know what? You guys deserve to see. You guys deserve to see. Even if I mess up, you guys deserve to see it. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish this little wrist armor here, really quick, like. I'm really liking this shape of the arm. I love stuff like this, like this type of stuff where the form like goes right into the elbow. Probably not completely anatomically correct, but it looks really cool. Maybe just look a little bit more like that. But that looks really cool, and I'll probably end up like touching it up. I love touching up like muscles and making them look, fairly good. So that's the point where I'll like look at reference, or I'll use my big old mirror over here. Got a big old mirror right here, and I'll always like just kind of like it's really good to like look into, or I'll even just use my own camera and I'll take like a snapshot for like perspective things because that makes it really easy. It's like, oh, okay, so I can see this muscle go like that. There's a little dimple right there. Like it works really well, especially when I'm drawing girls' bodies because I kind of have a feminine body. I don't know. it's like the tough girl feminine body, which is probably why I love drawing tough girls because it's like, hey, let's just reference my body, my arms anyway. We won't go any further than that. Okay, so let's draw this hand holding the hilt of the blade. Okay, so one of the biggest things I like to keep in mind is wherever the blade is tilted. The blade is tilted in the same angle as your knuckles. So your knuckles are pointing this way, right? So the blade is also going to point that way. What you want to avoid doing is having somebody grab a sword, right? Like imagine this is a fist, right? So here's your hand, here's the thumb, and then the sword is like that. It's a tiny sword. But anyway, so nobody holds a sword like that. You're not going to like swipe at somebody like that. You like the knuckles, wherever the knuckles point, that's where the blade is. Okay? So don't make that mistake. Never make that mistake. The knuckles point in the direction of the blade. So since our blade is facing down this way, right, if we want to draw like a little line of perspective, just to remind us, that means our knuckles should also be pointed down that way. Okay? So basically we're going to see that little shape right there. And like I said, it's very, very simple what's happening here. Very, very simple. In fact, I might just reference this a little bit. Because we're basically having something like this. Okay? So that means we're going to have this here, that little thing right there. And I'm really just searching for shapes here. Searching for a shape. In fact, I'm probably going to do this right now. I'll do this live for you guys right now. Okay, so we are down like this, right? The sword is coming down. So we want to create this shape. I want to create that shape with the knuckles. Because I really like it when the hand goes from this to that. Like, that looks really cool. And it's always pretty tough to, like, illustrate. So just like that. Let's do it. Let's do it. You like my basketball shorts? I know you do. I know you do. This is my work attire. Work attire, baby. Alright, so, yeah, we're just doing that. We are getting the hilt of the blade coming up like that. There we go. So it's going to be something fairly simple. I'll probably expand upon that, make it look a little bit better as I go into the final stuff. But, again, I'm not worrying too much about it. I'm not worrying too much about it, okay? Just slap it down. Alright, that's good. Come back to it later. Alright, so to wrap things up, let's just review everything that we've learned today. So really what my line style is, once I start refining my digital clay, is I'm still not going in and like trying to draw lines. I'm never trying to draw lines. Okay? Rather what I'm doing is I feel like I lay down things like this, like, hey, there's a head, and then I erase a piece out of it, and then I start adding in values. Like this, right? I do stuff like that, and I'll draw like over top of things, and then I'll go back in and erase those lines. And that's why I like to call it digital sculpting. And I hope that this has been an educational adventure. Hope you've learned some things. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end today's show. Thank you guys for joining me on YouTube as usual. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. Just a quick reminder, everybody who pledges, everybody who clicks this button and pledges $10 on Patreon is going to be getting something very special. And that something very special is an Emma decal. Woohoo! So if you have like specifically if you have like a really cool sports car like this, it'll look really good on the window. You can put it on your computer, toaster oven, whatever you deem worthy. But yeah, just click that little link down there if you'd like to get one of these. This month only, sending them out to everybody who pledges $10. Thank you guys very much once again. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.